of Rise and Shine Rwanda. It's Monday, the 25th of January.
Good morning. It's just after 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Ivan Magwene.
And me, Yvette Shimbusho.
Over the next hour, we'll bring you all the latest news, sports, and business headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And as usual, Yvette has the latest in business for us. Yvette, so what do you have for us today?
So I have a question to ask you all. Do you want the good news or the bad news? In business.
The good news.
The good news.
The good news? Yeah. We're doing very well in tea exports.
All right.
So the bad news I shall tell you later.
All right. Sherry, what's up in the world of lifestyle?
Well, I just have good news. So there's a package. Remember when we talked about tourism and how we should start touring on Africa or on Rwanda? So there's a package that I have for you guys, all of you, and for our viewers.
So
Great. Package for us.
For what you should be looking up or put on your bucket list.
Okay, I thought it was like a package, handout to give us for touring. And Moses, it's been a busy week. I'm pretty sure Chan is getting better.
Yes. Of course, Rwanda has qualified for the next round of in the quarterfinals, and Zimbabwe was the second team to be knocked out of the group stages. And I will tell you more in details on how it happened throughout the second day of Chan. What happens? How were the dramas on the different stadiums around the country?
Well, Amavubi, the Wassips are there, doing their thing. Well, all that and more still to come, but first, it was the Rise and Shine story of the day. Welcome back to Rise and Shine story of the day. My name's Ivan Magwene. In our today's story of the day, we take a look at the recent concluded World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. As Rwanda prepares to host the World Economic Forum on Africa, we take deep insights on how ready we are and what the recent World Economic Forum in Davos meant for us. But first, let's take a look at a report we compiled for you.
The many things we want to see happen. Aligning the language with the scope of though too late, what we have known for true government has its role to play, and we must come together to make sure that we organize. So that's the first political way.
The World Economic Forum. And this happened this weekend, last weekend.
Yes, last weekend from the 20th to the 23rd. It was, of course, the biggest business story on the move.
Yes, definitely. Although I'm not going to speak about it because already you're going to talk about it.
Of course.
So the first thing I want to be able to ask you, exactly what did they talk about at the World Economic Forum? What were some of their objectives?
Well, first of all, I think this World Economic Forum came at a time when there's a lot going on, especially key issues that are affected, because the World Economic Forum, I think, looks just beyond the economics of the world. It is even the key issues that are affecting the globe. And this time, one of the key issues that I think that was very much pointed out was the issue with the ISIS and the global security. As times go on, I think the globe is now more threatened than ever.
Yes.
And just because of the rising terrorism, we've seen a lot of, acts in different countries. So part of what I think was the main discussion, what I saw as the main discussion at the World Economic Forum in Davos was, the issue of security. But far beyond that, I think it all brings down the economics, even from the time that, of course, our own president was there.
Yes,
it was
definitely.
part of the regional Africa regional conference, where kind of dialogue where people were talking about, unlocking Africa's potential, bringing out the African outlook there so people can explore the opportunities that are in Africa.
Yep. So before we just get to that side of the story, I want to know, at the economic forum, the World Economic Forum,
Yes.
did they talk about China?
China.
And what is going on right now?
Quite frankly,
because we're a bit scared.
Well, I would say, of course, China, of course, at this moment, as you've been getting clear signs that they're saying it could be the next potential country that could cause the world crisis.
Yes.
And of course, as China is a key, vital, important organ of the world economics, was a key issue to talk about also in the World Economic Forum.
Okay, good.
But leaving alone China also, I think part of what I think was the main focus was also the European Union, where to basically focus as the European Union in terms of the economics. Is it on the monetary policies? Because as you already know, Greece was in a hell of bad situation last year when, of course, it bailed out and became bankrupt as a government. So part of what was being looked at also was the kind of policies that the European Union is going to be taking in the next few years to make sure that the world economics works better and best. So that's where the main focus was. And of course, this was a very vital, I think, vital meeting conference for Rwanda, because as you already know, we plan to have the World Economic Forum on Africa in May from the 11th to the 13th. It's not that much of a long time for such kind of a big meeting.
No, but I think it's enough time.
It's enough time, of course, for us to prepare. As we've already seen, a lot is going on in Kigali, a lot of infrastructure development, a lot of hotels are going to be opening up soon, and hopefully also the convention center will be ready to host the World Economic Forum. But quite an ambitious plan, and I think Rwanda is ready, more than ready, I think, to host the meeting. And of course, this is something very big, because at the moment, Rwanda, of course, is ranked as one of the most competitive economies in Africa. The most competitive,
growing.
Yes.
One of the fastest growing economies.
Of course, in the world.
In Africa.
Even in the world is now
one of
the fastest growing economies in Africa and the world. So, and also, of course, putting Rwanda is now put on the map, because this is a World Economic Forum, and this is something that attracts people from the government, from the civil society, from every arena of life. So I think this is a very important sector for Rwanda to look at, even in the main fact that Rwanda also, for future plans to host bigger events than the World Economic Forum.
We're on the right track.
We're on the right track. Recently we had the FDB here, so having the World Economic Forum, I think, even puts more Rwanda on the map, and I think this is a great opportunity for Rwanda to not only showcase that it's capable of handling everything, but also it's capable of making sure that such kind of, big conferences are a success.
Yes, definitely. So all these conferences are shining more light on Rwanda.
Absolutely.
In our beautiful city, Kigali.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. Business news coming up next with our very own Yvette Shumbusho.
The things that make you look outside the window and sigh. The ones that make your dreamy eyes look up to the sky and smile. Forget the miles between and smile at the sky. Like it held something precious that belonged to you. Like this little secret that makes you hold everything you love. Let your passion guide you. You can be sure you will touch the sky.
Business stories making headlines today. Internet users are expected to benefit after the completion of an undersea internet cable that Liquid Telecom has embarked on building, which is expected to significantly bring down data costs and increase speed. Data has increasingly taken center stage in the telecom business. With the narrowing voiced revenue stream, telecoms are looking to data to cushion their profitability. However, consumers have felt that the pinch, with many complaining of high internet rates as mobile phone penetration surged to 76.2% and internet usage grew to 28.6% last year. The data market seems to be heating up. The rapid growth in smartphones is spurring data demand for telecoms. Unfortunately, this is the bad news, together with the good news, but Rwanda's campaign to diversify its exports to cushion the economy against a growing trade imbalance may take a little longer, with agricultural exports falling by 29% due to the depressed international commodity prices. In the first 11 months of last year, exports fell to $65.2 million from $91.7 million during the same period in 2014, according to the National Agriculture Export Board. The trade imbalance was widened as 7 out of the 13 leading agricultural exports, pyrethrum, hides and skins, cereals, pulses, root tubers, live animals, and banana. But the good news here is that the tea exports recorded positive growth, expanding 40.16%, while the horticulture exports grew by 41.33%. Kenya's maize brokers, who have been hoarding huge stocks of last year's harvest in anticipation of an increase in prices, may not realize their expectations as the cheaper imports from Uganda flood the market. The brokers are estimated to be holding about 3 million bags of maize from last year in anticipation of the demand pushing up the prices. Demand for maize in Kenya is usually high from April to June, and the prices rise to 4,500 Kenyan shillings per 90 kilograms. Since the start of this year, Uganda has exported over 400 tons of maize to Kenya. An agreement between East African Community member states provides a liberalized market, allowing the flow of agricultural goods across the region duty-free. Now up to date with today's business headlines. Sports news coming in just a moment with Moses Vilkunzira.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for Sport News. I am Moses Virukunzira. Starting with the CHAN Rwanda 2016 updates, Zambia advanced, Mali boost chance, and Zimbabwe out of Group D. Zambia beat Uganda 1-0 in their second Group B match on Saturday at Umuganda Stadium to qualify for the quarterfinals of the 2016 African Nation Championship, leaving the Cranes on 1 point with only a mathematical chance of advancing. Chiporoporo veteran captain Christopher Katongo scored the lone goal of the match in the first half to break the hearts of thousands of Ugandan fans. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe became the second team after Angola to be eliminated from the fourth editions, taking place in Rwanda after losing 1-0 to Mali on Saturday to make 2 losses in 2 group matches. Next, Mali will play Zambia and Uganda will entertain Zimbabwe. Now in European football. In the Premier League, Manchester United booed off as Saints win, Leicester City top of the Premier League table, and Liverpool won a 9-goal thriller at Norwich. Lionel Messi put Barcelona on top of La Liga. Substitute Charlie Austin scored 7 minutes into his Southampton debut as Leicester Manchester United were booed off at Old Trafford. Austin rose to head home a free kick in 87th minute to win an otherwise draw game of few chances. Southampton have now won at United in the league for 2 last seasons. Leicester City moved 3 points clear at the top of Premier League table with an impressive 3-0 victory over Stoke City, thanks to goals from Danny Drinkwater, Jamie Vardy and Ronaldo Uloa. Elsewhere, Adam Lallana's injury time strike saw Liverpool edge a 9-goal thriller at Norwich in one of the most dramatic Premier League games of the season. In La Liga, Lionel Messi returned from injury to send Barcelona back to the top of La Liga as they won at Malaga. Messi missed the midweek Copa del Rey win at Atletico Bilbao with hamstring problem, but came back to volley an Adriano close for the decisive goal. Finally, the follow-up of the Australian Open. Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova to meet in Australian Open. Defending champion Serena Williams will face Maria Sharapova in the Australian Open quarterfinals after both won their last 16 matches on Sunday. Top seed Williams, who beat Sharapova in last year's final, crushed Margarita Gaspariana 6-2, 6-1 in 55 minutes. The 34-year-old American is chasing her 22nd Grand Slam title and 7th in Australia. Sharapova, the 2008 champions from Russia, hit 21 aces as she battled to 7-5, 7-5 win over Swiss Belinda Bencic. The African Nation Championship CHAN 2016 is ongoing. Next was the second games in all groups, Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. Amavubi was the first team to progress to the quarterfinals as Group A leaders, followed by DR Congo from Group B and Zambia from Group D, while 2 teams in Angola and Zimbabwe are already out of the competition, despite not played their last games in their respective groups. Mali, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, and Nigeria are all still on hold. Let's take a look at how the ambience was in different stadiums around the country.
Moses, for me, as we had already earlier said before this game happened,
Yes.
of course, Zambia has a good history with football. They are the African Nations Championship 2012. So for me on this game, I gave them a bigger chance.
Yeah.
Now, if you talk about people like Bonakatongo, the captain, and of course the record that Chipolo Polo has had over the years, there's no doubt that this game was meant to be for Zambia.
Yeah.
But in your own journalistic way, I always ask you, how did you view the whole game? Did you think maybe Uganda gave it its best, but maybe they lost out because of something, maybe they experienced? What was your whole general overview?
Basically, it was a commitment and the ability for different players. Because when you look at Isaac Chansa and the veteran Christophe Katongo, who is the captain, you know, their experience actually proved to be very vital in the decisive winning. Because you see, Isaac Chansa is a veteran. Him and Katongo were part of the AFCON winners in 2012 for Zambia. And again, when you look at the game, you know, Uganda lacked the industry and the competitiveness, the final balls from their captain, the captain of Uganda, who is Falukumia, and also the organization from defense, from the goalkeeper, who is Ismail Wantenga, who is now injured and he's not going to play any other game in this actually CHAN. So it was, you know, Uganda lacked that combination between the defense to attack. That's where Zambia proved to be vital. And from the set piece, Christophe Katongo scored a goal before halftime, and there's nothing to do.
Well, at this point, I would like to point out something. Of course, for most people, they gave Uganda a very clear chance, because if you look at one of the most outstanding team in the Sekafa region, and the mere fact that it had just won the Sekafa Cup, could this mean Uganda could take back the bus and go back to Kampala before we go out of the group stages?
Basically, they still have a long way to go, because, you know, Mali won their game against Zimbabwe, and if Mali can get a point out of the Zambia game, you know, which they are going to play next Thursday, you know, if they happen
it requires a draw.
Mali needs a draw, and Uganda needs to beat Zimbabwe by a big margin of goals. If Zambia happen to beat Mali, then Uganda stand a chance, because Uganda might get 4 points, and you know, Mali stay with 4 points, but a goal difference. Because when you look at the game between Mali and Uganda, they all drew 2-2. So that will be the next rule, and the third rule is goal difference. Now,
allow me to pull it down to the top scorers. Quite an amazing game. I've seen this young man play, and I think Shikatara, from no doubt, after this Sekafa, his dreams may be true in any kind of team he wants to be joining, because he's shown a very good game. He's very good with dribbling the ball around, and he's such a good scorer. How have you seen this? But because I feel like in any way or the other, somebody's eyeing him out there in the stadium.
Of course, when you are the top scorer of the tournament, there's no, you know, the statistics talk for themselves. You know, there's nothing out. You know, for Chikatala, he's a very amazing goal scorer, and
quite a young guy.
He's very young. He's, I believe, 19 years old, and he is physical. He's quick. His decisions are very fast. And again, he can dribble. He can score from wing. He can score from middle, and he can go behind the defenders, which is a quality for these modern strikers. So for him, I'm eyeing him to be one of the hot properties, because Farukumia already is in standard.
I love the word you use there.
He's a hot properties for sure, because already Farukumia has got a team in Belgium First Division. So he can be the next person to be bought, but maybe not Belgium, maybe in England, because Nigeria is a very strong team in Africa. So he stands a chance to be there. And, you know, but I'm also eyeing a guy called Akaichi from Tunisia, who has 3 goals so far, but he's 26 years old, so maybe, but he's on the prime of his career. He can also go somewhere far. Yeah, we've seen good players, good dribblers, but we cannot forget our very own Ernest Sugira, who has scored a brace on his debut. So, you know, this CHAN actually has proved there are a lot of talents in this competition.
All right, now bringing on, of course, to the Amavubi stars, to the homeboys, I would like you to, at least in a few words and in a few seconds, to tell me, so far, how do you think the games are going for them? Do you think they're on top of the track, that you think they're going to go far within? So far, what is your own general overview of the game Amavubi is playing so far?
Basically, Amavubi has made all of us, Rwandans, not only Rwandans, lovers of soccer and football, as you can say. They made us all proud, and the expectation we are seeing on Amahoro Stadium is amazing. So when you see Amavubi entering on the pitch, there's one thing in their mind: win the game. That's it. you know, and that's what they've been doing. They won their first game against Ivory Coast, the first country in Africa. They won their second game against Gabon 2-1 with an amazing, impressive performance from the captain, Tuisenye, from the midfielders, Yannick and Emlan, and from the defenders, Celestin and Fitina Ombalenga, the goalkeeper, you know, the combination from the link-up play between Jean-Claude Iranzi and the strikers.
And quite fans have been saying also that the Amavubi game has kind of opened up since the first game. Right now, you saw that the first game was more of defending the goal. And, you know, there is this philosophy that the new coach, McKinstry, says, if you have one goal, and then you just have to go back and defend the goal. But we've seen Amavubi, that is what fans are saying, we've seen Amavubi open up the game, especially on the second match, and playing the real game, bringing up and leaving, you know, out the defenders to come also and play the game. So do you think that has been happening? Yeah, that has been the revamp from the first game to the second game of Jean-Claude Iranzi. The way he integrated to be actually a linking player as a number 10, and what he has been doing is amazing. And again now, the high performance of Jacques Tuisenje and the link-up play with Ernesto Sugira, because you know in the first game Danny Usengimana didn't link up properly with Jacques Tuisenje, but when you can see the way Tuisenje played with Ernesto Sugira, it was completely amazing. And the fact that Rwanda scored the second goal in the first seconds of the first minute of the second half, that shows that the ambition is high, that we are here to score. We score, and if they can, they score also, but we score and we defend, and it's perfect. But there's one thing that I would like to point out. Amavubi needs to concentrate in their last 30 minutes of the game, because if they can manage to concentrate in the last 30 minutes, then Amavubi can beat any team in this particular competition. That's the way the confidence will end up there. Amavubi can beat up the team in any minute, in any time, as long as they defend up. Now, Moses has all the details for you as Chan goes up or out of the group stages. Keep up with the updates and stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
The things that make you look outside the window and sigh. The ones that make your dreamy eyes look up to the sky and smile. Forget the miles between and smile at the sky. Like it held something precious that belonged to you. Like this little secret that makes you hold everything with love. Let your passion guide you. You can be sure you will touch the sky.
Let's take a look now at news making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The humanitarian situation in Burundi, as well as a bill that will help the region enforce and jointly enhance mechanisms mitigate foil natural disasters, are among the key items on the agenda as the East African Legislative Assembly holds its next sitting in Arusha, Tanzania next week. Diplomats from the UN Security Council on Friday wrapped up a visit to Burundi after meeting up top government officials in the capital, Bujumbura. They encouraged all parties to pursue an inclusive dialogue process that would help end months of political turmoil.
Representatives of several Dutch companies interested in tourism sector are in Rwanda to identify viable investment opportunities. The companies led by Green Dream Company, a Dutch company that specializes in sustainable area development of natural and cultural heritage sites with the use of tourism.
And in regional news, South Sudan has missed a key deadline to create a transitional government after the president increased the number of provinces from 10 to 28. The plan for a unity government was part of a peace deal in August to end the civil war, which began in 2013 when President Salva Kiir accused his then deputy Riek Machar of plotting a coup. The two sides blame each other for violating the terms of the agreement.
And in international news, a massive snowstorm has brought much of the eastern USA to a standstill, affecting some 85 million people. All non-essential travel is banned in New York, with officials believing it could be one of the city's worst snowstorms. At least 18 deaths, many from traffic accidents, have been blamed on the severe weather since Friday.
Oh, well, there you have it. Global warming now. I think
definitely
you've seen, I think, I was looking at one of the pictures of one of the, Secret Service in the US standing in snow, very cold, because it's very cold out there. So I think this could be one of the biggest snowstorms the USA has ever received. Well, that's it. We have it.
Thank God we're in Africa.
We take a look at what's happening in lifestyle and what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics with Sherry Uwase. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda's lifestyle segment with me, of course, Sherry Uwase. It is essential and relaxing to take a tour around our very own country and learn and be just knowledgeable about our culture, our environment. So I visited one of the domestic tourism companies, Wilson Tours, which puts together an amazing and affordable packages for the places you would like to visit in our country. Take a look. Welcome to today's lifestyle segment, and I am here at Wilson Tours, which is a tourism company. Now, previously, actually last week, we talked about a few weeks ago, we talked about how we can begin to tour our own country, to our own Africa. And I took a step to go ahead, and I am here at Wilson Tours, which has all the tourism packages that you can get here in Rwanda. So I'm here to talk to this company and to the people who work there, and just to bring you what you can put on your bucket list and where you need to go.
Nitwa Wilson Habimana, nkaba founder, nkaba na manager wa Wilson Tours Travel Agency. Wilson Tours Travel Agency ni company yaziye kugira ngo ipromoting domestic tourism mu Rwanda. Mu Rwanda dufite ibintu byinshi cyane abanyamahanga baza kwishimira. Abanyarwanda ntabwo twagize amahirwe yo kubisura ngo tubimenye. Company rero yaziye kugira ngo ifashe abanyarwanda kugira ngo babigereho bamenye ibyiza bitatse igihugu cyabo. Dukora ku bijyanye n'umuco, amateka n'ibindi nyaburanga. Dufite umuco mwiza, dufite ahantu habumbatiye amateka n'ibindi nyaburanga, dufite amaparike, dufite ibintu byinshi byiza byo kwishimira.
So kumwe nanjye ahangaha ni Uwase Apolline. Uwase Apolline, wenda watangira umbwira ushinzwe iki hano kuri Wilson Tours?
Nkuko babivuze nitwa Uwase Apolline, hano muri Wilson Tours nshinzwe kwakira abantu. No kuvuga ni company yakira ba mukerarugendo. Nimvuga ba mukerarugendo abanyarwanda ntibumve ko ari abanyamahanga gusa, kuko twe twaziye gupromotinga domestic tourism kugira ngo abanyarwanda ubwabo bitabire ubukerarugendo.
Mwaka wa 2016 tuzatwara n'ubundi abantu mu bice bitandukanye. Dufite ibirunga, dufite buriya ibirunga bitanu. Tuzazamuka nk'ubu urugero ku itariki 30 tuzazamuka ikirunga bita Bisoke. Ni icya gatatu mu birunga dufite. Gifite metero 4711. Mu birunga bitanu dufite rero tuzakizamuka tugende, gifite umwihariko ko gifite icyaga hejuru bita Lac du Crater cyangwa se Crater Lake. Ni icyaga gishimishije cyane.
Kumwe nanjye ahangaha ni Mahoro Olivier. Watangira wenda utubwira muri Wilson Tours ukora mwiki?
Okay, murakoze. Muri Wilson Tours nkoramo ndi umutrainer, ntanga training ku bintu bijyanye n'ubukerarugendo. Dutanga training ku bantu bize ubukerarugendo ariko bashaka kubimenya byimbitse. Tugatanga nanone training ku bantu batigeze biga ubukerarugendo ariko bashaka kubwinjiramo. Si ibyo gusa, tunatraininga abantu ku bashaka kuba ba tourist guiding mu maparike mu Rwanda dufite, cyangwa se mu ma archaeological site, cyangwa se mu ma museums atandukanye dufite mu Rwanda.
Packages zacu ntabwo ziba zikomeye cyangwa se zikanganye, kuko urugero nko kuzamuka ikirunga cya Bisoke kuko bizaba ari group, kuko dutembereza abantu ku giti. Umuntu ashobora kuza ku giti cye, abantu bashobora kuza uri kumwe na fiance wawe, cyangwa se ama families. Yego, families nazo zikaza tukazikorera package, cyangwa se institutions, ibigo.
There you've had it from Wilson Tours, everyone right here with me. And actually we did something symbolic, and we're here at the car free zone. They decided to take me for a tour around Kigali. So we started by coming here at the car free zone. So please, on the 30th of January, they're going to Bisoke, which is one of the 3 mountains that we have in Rwanda. So make sure if you don't plan to be there, there's going to be many other packages. So you can contact Wilson Tours. They have a Facebook page. You can write to us even on Rise and Shine in case you want to go there. So make sure that you start touring our own country. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda lifestyle segment with me, Sherry Uwase. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, the Rise and Shine Rwanda team, we're up and about gathering everything that you need to know about what's happening here and all around the world. From the debates that you have all around social media, we've got it all for you right here, right now. Now, a couple of weeks ago, there was a rumor that Rwanda Revenue Authority is going to begin taxing WhatsApp groups because apparently they bring a lot of revenue to the country's economy. How true is this? We would never really agree, all of us. However, Rwanda Revenue Authority sent out a letter saying that this was a false alarm. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Did you get
Somebody
the message?
sent it to me and I got a bit scared because it was all in Kinyarwanda. So, and my Kinyarwanda I read very slowly. So I'm like, Rwanda revenue igi, and then it was all in Kinyarwanda, and I was like, oh my goodness, are they actually going to start charging us, or did like WhatsApp like contact all the countries and start saying that everyone needs to pay? And the thing is, the day before I had received, you know how like WhatsApp tells you that your what is it? You're free. Yeah, it's expiring. WhatsApp is expiring, and you have to start paying for it like every month. I was kind of scared because I use it so often.
Yes.
But then when I read the whole message on, it was actually a screenshot from Twitter, I realized, what, from WhatsApp? Apparently because all the businesses are doing so well and business transactions and everything are done through WhatsApp, all of a sudden Rwanda Revenue is going to be taxing us. I found it very hilarious. I actually thought it was like a prank from them or something, but it was really funny.
Right, Ivan.
Well, I think at some point I also got scared because I know now, I don't know. I think it's another issue that we have with taxes. Is there
Looking
could
for
be a
taxes everywhere.
I know, it could be a tax phobia. When people say they're going to tax something
Tax
on
phobia.
You're like,
tax phobia, people will start, you know, freaking out. But I think at some point I knew this was not true because I've seen some false information again on WhatsApp, especially the one dealing with police. It's either they're talking about, especially there are a lot of pranks on police. You know, police have said this and this. So for me, I think I was not taken up by the fact that, you know, there was going to be taxing. But if there was taxing, then I think I'll be like freaking out till today. Because even the mere fact that even sometimes I think there's some phones, I think, is it the iPhone where you can sometimes you have to buy applications. So for some people that do buy a lot of applications, they really know how much struggle they go to. And now if you go now taxing the WhatsApp use, I think that would be hilarious. Now it would be crazier than that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Basically, when that came out, I was like, but people use WhatsApp in a way that, you know, communication is a key. And that economy is also important. But again, even if you have a shop, you can still tell someone who has a shop to take a picture of a certain item that you'd like to buy from him or her, and then sends you that picture and tells you the price. And then the next time would be go and buy it from there. So still, WhatsApp does business, you know, it plays a big part in doing business and in communication and the processes. And, you know, taxing people would be hilarious, of course. And I know someone, but there's someone who just tried to make a day, you know, to make people laugh, you know, at least. And that's what that person tried to do. Right. But maybe in a wrong way. Because, you know, it forced the Rwanda Revenue Authority to stand up and write a letter to say this is not correct. You know, it's that's why sometimes also we need to control what we say on WhatsApp, because sometimes you can say something and someone might even get a heart attack. It depends on what do you say.
Maybe not a heart attack, but
I'm telling you, there are WhatsApp freaks out there that if you say that they're going to tax, somebody's going to freak out. I recently saw a video where, you know, where a kid's phone was taken. Because she couldn't use WhatsApp, she started crying. The mother was like, I'm not going to give you this phone for one day. The kid started crying. And you can imagine now if you tell that kid, we're going to start taxing.
Oh my yeah, they don't even know what tax means. But you know, the funny thing is, actually, this message was put on Rwanda Revenue's
Twitter handle.
Twitter handle, exactly. And then you're thinking, was it hacked or...
Twitter page, sorry.
Yeah, was it hacked or... But you could see that it seemed as if they are the ones that did that. Yes. So they came up and they wrote an official letter, and you can see it was stamped by them, signed, you know, by the officials, so at least...
I found it, you know, I wouldn't really be angry at them or feel like, you know what, it was such a bad thing that whoever did it, it wasn't too bad, because it was funny. I mean, can you imagine WhatsApp being taxed? Maybe because I thought and I knew it's not possible. Please let it never be possible. I found it really hilarious, and it was just, oh my goodness, this is so silly. So it wasn't such a bad thing. The only issue is that maybe those people that might have taken it seriously, that's the wrong part of it, but it was funny. It was a good laugh in the morning. Actually, sorry, to the morning, so it was funny.
Yeah. So everyone, you can be at ease. You can keep on opening as many WhatsApp groups as you want. You're not going to be taxed for it. So do not go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. like us on Facebook, and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports we do. Finally, find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your pictures. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website, www.riseandshinerwanda.com. Well, that is all the time we have for you today. We love to hear your feedback, so please keep sending them in. But for now, you have been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Yvette Shumbusho.
And me, Ivan Magwene. We'll be at same time, same place tomorrow. Do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a very good day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.